Okay, so before we play it, let me say that this is Robert Helenius versus Johan Duhaupas. Robert Helenius was a very well-known, growing, a lot of potential heavyweight back in the earlier part of this decade, 2009, 2010, 2011. He is about to take the first defeat of his career, even though a lot of people felt he should have lost to Dereck Chisora in 2011. But he's about to take the first official defeat via knockout by this guy, Johan Duhaupas, who just 2 fights before this was brutally knocked out by Deontay Wilder. And 1 fight after this was knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. This fight was back in April of 2016. Right now is October the 24th, 2016, 2017. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. And watch this, and we will be right back. By the way, Dillian Whyte is fighting Robert Helenius this weekend on the undercard of Joshua versus Takam, and the winner will likely be the next mandatory for Deontay Wilder. And this fight should put him, Dillian Whyte, if he wins, or Robert Helenius, in a good position to get Deontay Wilder, but more Whyte than Robert Helenius. But anyway, let me shut the fuck up. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. We take boxing very seriously around here, especially the politics involved in boxing. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.
Huomasi, että yksi tuli läpi, niin se saa olla viimeinen ja kyllä. Robert Heleniuksen yleisilme on hieman noutuneemman näköinen kuin tuossa Harjaren sitten. Nyt tuli turha osuma taas. Ranskalaisen oikein pamahtaa jälleen toi Heleniuksen nenänottoon. Kärki ylös nope. Ja lisää tuossa on hyvän näköinen sillä yltäkin tulee takimainen. Kuittauksen Heleniuksen ja yleisö aivan villinä mukana, sillä tässä on kaksi tasaista kaudella vastakkain. Tässä mukana. Nyt on osunut kyllä liian usein.
Got about a minute left. That's who Dillian Whyte's fighting. And he became a meme right there. It was at that moment he became a meme. So he used to be really good. Look, he is knocked the fuck out. I'm wondering if it was conditioning. Since then, he went on to win 3 straight fights, if I'm correct, and ranked. Let me go check. I'm going to check right now. He went on to win, after losing this was in April the 2nd of 2016. This fight right here, he just got knocked the fuck out. He then won 3 fights since then, and now he's fighting Dillian Whyte. All 3 of those fights by knockout. He had a fight with Dereck Chisora back in 2011. I remember that. I covered that around the time when I first started on YouTube, where a lot of people felt that he lost that fight, but he did have an injury, and he has had some promotional issues. He goes by the Nordic Nightmare, Robert Helenius, 25-1 with 16 KOs. He's ranked number 16 by the WBC. He is the WBC International Silver Champion, if I'm correct, or Intercontinental Silver or some shit. You know, this fight is going to be for the WBC Silver Championship, which will guarantee you a high ranking. But with Eddie Hearn's maneuvering and with the way the rankings are shaped up, and I pride myself in knowing the rankings and following them religiously because it's my job, It's looking like if definitely Dillian Whyte wins, he'll be the next mandatory after Bermane Stiverne, or this weekend for Deontay Wilder sometime in 2018. You see what I'm saying? So this is one of the reasons why Eddie Hearn has been pushing for Wilder versus Whyte for the longest and offered big money, because it's put it this way. It's looking like Dillian Whyte has a very strong chance to get Deontay Wilder before Anthony Joshua gets him. And there's a lot of money involved in that fight, because Eddie Hearn's logic, from what we've been hearing in his interviews, is he like, okay, Wilder hasn't fought anybody. You know, even though it's not Wilder's fault what happened with the Povetkin situation when he went to Russia, what happened with the Luis Ortiz situation, not filling out his paperwork, that's not Wilder's fault. But despite all of that, there's still no names on Wilder's record, his fault or not. So Eddie Hearn is like, well, then fight Dillian Whyte. Here's $3.5 million, the biggest money you'll ever make in your career. But Dillian Whyte is very dangerous for a guy like Deontay Wilder. And the big money is Anthony Joshua. But now it's looking like Eddie Hearn is going to withhold Anthony Joshua from Deontay Wilder until he fights Dillian Whyte, and he would have to beat Dillian Whyte. It's looking like Joshua versus Wilder is not going to happen, because Anthony Joshua has big money fights ahead of him. Fights with guys like David Haye if he beats Tony Bellew, because Tony Bellew wants no parts. You know, an international fight, a fight that's big on internationally, a bigger fight than Wilder, to be honest with you. You know, in Joseph Parker, who Eddie Hearn and his team have, and Joshua's team have already met with. You know, and then of course they got Dillian Whyte. Hell, they can even go Dereck Chisora and make big money, or the same amount at least in Wilder. You come over here in Wilder, yeah, you can put it in Vegas and sell out somewhere, and have all the UK people come over here, but it just doesn't look like they're after that right now. You know, Eddie Hearn wants Dillian Whyte to be WBC champion, and Anthony Joshua to be WBO if he beats Joseph Parker, IBF, and WBA, and they're gonna have some big, mega, crazy, super biggest heavyweight UK fight of all time over there. I'm not stupid. I see how it is. But Robert Helenius is not a bum, though. You know, he's had promotional issues. He's had injuries, and you can see he just clearly gassed out. And he was already knocked down earlier in this fight. I don't think he took Johann Duhaupas seriously. But he is dangerous. You know? He has very accurate punching. If Dillian Whyte beats him, I consider that a credible win on Dillian Whyte's career, in my personal opinion, from what I know from the sport. So I'm not just tooting this guy, Robert Helenius, guys. You know, you should go, like, you know who used to be really high on him? Max Kellerman years ago. Let me go see if I can pull up some Nordic Nightmare highlights for you, just to give you a little glimpse of who he is. By the way, please subscribe, man. I'm not doing this for my health, man. We're making some real advancements to make sure not only are we getting to the fights, but we're getting you everything you need, you know, as far as boxing news, whether it's on the website, FightView 360, or whether it's, you know, on here or on social media. Our social media is definitely where it's at. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Dude is no joke. Well, you mean he used to be no joke. He used to be no joke. You know, I'm going to just play these in the background while I run my mouth. You know, but then again, it's like this. You can say the same thing about, you know, like the level of competition he was doing all this to. You know, but he had a high upside, you know, until he met Dereck Chisora in 2011. You know, that fight with Dereck Chisora was supposed to send him over the top. Then he was with Silent Promotions, had promotional issues or whatever the case may be. But he's fighting now. You know, and he has been active. And then since he got knocked out by Johann Duhaupas, he was, back in the ring 2 more times that same year, if I'm correct. You know, so he's been out there, and, you know, and I'm looking forward to this fight. In fact, I believe that this is the fight of the weekend, Dillian Whyte versus Robert Helenius, because of what it means. And a lot of times in boxing, it is about the storylines behind the fights and what it means for the fighters going forward than the actual fight itself, even if it's boring as fuck. So these next 2 weeks are very important for the heavyweight scene, because what if Carlos Takam upsets Anthony Joshua? Or what if Bermane Stiverne upsets Anthony Joshua? This, in the video, or likely 2 videos after this, I'm going to be on a media call with Deontay Wilder, Bermane Stiverne, Lou DiBella, the promoter of Deontay Wilder, and Steven Espinoza. And I'm sure Dillian Whyte's name is going to come up. And in fact, I'm going to ask about Dillian Whyte and Robert Helenius. You know? So, as I said, go check out some of Robert Helenius fights, especially check out the Dereck Chisora fight, because that's the one that is worth watching, you know, where you'll get to find out, like, who he is. But what if Robert Helenius is in shade? You know, even though this fight was, you know, announced on late notice, you know, how long were they in negotiations? So, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media is right down below in the description box. Oh, and we will be here after this whole card this weekend. After Carlos Takam's final bell, we're going to be doing a live stream talking about the fight, watching highlights, and doing, you know, just going over everything. So that's going to be immediately after the final bell of Joshua versus Takam. Please subscribe.